Carnivore update, because we have not been good updaters.
When we started doing these videos, we did say, if nothing's going on, we're not gonna, carnivore related.
Yeah.
We're not gonna just pop on and say, hey, I had a good poop, or, you know, we actually would do that early on, but we
That's true. Poop was real important in the beginning.
If you're new to this channel, we started the carnivore diet because of me. I have 2 autoimmune diseases, and we were doing an autoimmune diet. It was working great, and I had a flare-up of uveitis in my eye. We started carnivore, fantastic, right away. And then we got our cholesterol checked, and everybody's panicking, including us. This is all new. You know, we were like, oh boy, what's gonna happen? The doctors were really concerned, and I thought, you know what? I'll eat some carbs and lower my cholesterol.
And that
big mistake.
Needs to be explained though. If you're a lean mass hyperresponder, you can eat some carbs and it'll lower your cholesterol.
Feels weird repeating all this stuff, but I know there's new people. I understand that. We're both LMHRs, so the cholesterol is going to be high anyway.
Either take a statin or you're going to die, is basically what the cardiologist said.
My doctor was like, hey, that's not good.
Yeah.
They're all going to say that. We literally are concerned. There was a fear, and I said, okay, I'll eat some carbs, not a lot, and lower my cholesterol. And I ate some carbs, and big mistake. Jacked up my neck, my back.
His arthritis flared, which is one of his one of his autoimmune disorders, and his eye.
Yeah, but this is the worst, not the most painful. I shouldn't say it's the worst for me. It wasn't the most painful event I've ever had with my eye. I've had it in both eyes, but it was bad, lasted a long time, and I got a bunch of black dots. Like when this started, I just got off of the steroids. Steroids were
they take
5 times a day for a week, 4 times, 3, 2, 1, and then every other day. And I literally just finished it up. And I still have a few dots. I think either my brain's adjusting or whatever, but I got to go back and see the eye doctor for that. I've never had that.
Yeah.
So that's not cool. 4 months ago, before I had this event, 4 months ago, I had, we go to the cardiologist. The cardiologist said, I'm going to die. I'm not going to be able to see the results of this carnivore experiment. We order a CT scan with contrast.
Yep, his insurance would cover that. Mine wouldn't cover anything, so we paid out of pocket for me to get a CAC scan, which was $0, which was great.
I got ordered a CT with contrast, and that day, like he wrote up the paperwork stuff, I go to the front desk, everybody gets their stuff, and then they call, hey, you got to go get blood work, and okay, I go get blood work. In 4 months, I've done blood work 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. The office, his administrative people, were submitting it wrong, not submitting it. I'd contact them, hey, it should be about time for me to go do that test. And then all of a sudden they're like making up excuses and stuff. I don't want to get into all that, but it was a horrible administrative.
He still hasn't had it.
No, but good news is they're going to do it now. The insurance company got involved, and I said, hey, doctor says I'm going to die.
Push this through, please.
And so the insurance company got involved. Now, the hospital called me yesterday. I'm on a schedule. I called the hospital again this morning because I forgot to ask how long my blood works did good for, because I did it again. I probably given away a gallon of blood just to do this, and I haven't done it. So they confirmed that my appointment is going to be within the window of how long they want you to be with your blood work. So I'm good with that. So that's going to happen. And when that happens, I'm not even going to tell you guys the date because it's been so bad.
It's not this month.
It's been so bad being canceled that I don't want to say that to you guys, and then people will be going, well,
what happened? What happened?
So it's coming. That's going to be a big one.
Hopefully.
A big one. And here's it's big to me. But I know that once I get that, regardless of the results, one thing I've learned about carnivore is the only definitive thing you will have is I'm doing the right thing because I feel terrific.
Yeah.
But you will not have a definitive, hey, just breaking news, all this research done on people that are eating carnivore diet, you're going to live longer, you're not going to have heart attacks. You know, we're never...
No one's ever going to be definitive about that, I don't think.
Maybe when enough studies have been done and enough money is behind the legitimate research, not the research that these different entities want to have done, then we might have that. But right now, especially after this last episode with my eye, this is what I'm gonna do. I would rather feel good and have a risk that may or may not happen than to have this happen to my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's gonna happen if I don't do something, you know, if the things I'm doing are keeping that at bay. And I feel great, I'm active, I'm healthy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm living my life right now. I'm having a good time with my life. So if I eat the way that they tell me I should eat, and I feel crappy, how am I enjoying my
his life? If his autoimmune disorders are flaring, it's not
freaking miserable.
Happy, especially now knowing he could have relief from it.
Yeah.
You know, having a setback again and dealing with all that was miserable for him.
Anybody out there that's dealing with, you have like something that's chronic that just wears on you, and you easily could get depressed. And that becomes a vicious cycle. And then you just start dwelling on all these negative things. So it hasn't been like devastating to me, but in the beginning it was very bad. And I've had some bad uveitis, you know, like we're rushing to trying to find the only doctor that was available to take care of my eye. We've done it. We were out of town, remember, in Nevada. But different things like that, none of them worried me as much as this one. And mainly because
the floaters,
I was always able to see.
Yeah.
I could still see.
He said blurry vision and those black floaters, tons of them. Like he thinks he sees birds above my head and like a bunch of crows when he turns around and looks at me because there's all these black dots and stuff. And
there was literally.
We just play pickleball and he's not seeing balls come. It was weird.
I don't think I'm exaggerating to say there was it looked like thousands of these dots. Right now there's only a few. I was holding in our granddaughter. We were picking the kids up. We were going to watch it for a weekend, picking the kids up, and I was holding her and I was like, "Don't move." I was trying to get a bug out of her, like in her hair. I'm like. And then I realized that there wasn't one, and she goes, "Did you get it?" And I said, "Yes." It's annoying. I know there's people that get floaters and stuff, and I really feel bad for you. I don't care if it's one.
Yeah.
I've never experienced it.
You don't have floaters normally? Any floaters?
I've never had anything like that.
But you've had regular floaters?
No.
Never had a floater?
Never. I'm assuming a floater is you see something in your eye. I've never had
Wow. I've had floaters my whole life. Something will just float around in there, but it's not like a black dot where I can't see where I think there's a bird or a bug. Nothing like that.
Is it color?
It just will just kind of float down, and then you blink, and then it kind of just.
I had so much inflammation in my eye from that it squeezed that gel and let that stuff out. So again, if I'm gonna die from eating meat by a heart attack or whatever that is, and I was happy up to that point. I have no problem. I seriously do not have a problem with that.
Risk versus reward.
Yeah.
Your risk is great.
Yes.
So
I want to see as long as I can. Now, if I got something wrong with me and they take my eye out, I'm not going to kill myself. I would put a cool looking eye in there.
Looking forward to it if it ever happened.
That's where we're at. I got upset, and for just being afraid. And I understand that. I think we should be afraid because we don't know all the answers.
Yeah.
But I was afraid that, hey, oh no, maybe this is so weird that I should just try to lower my cholesterol. And it looked like it was pretty easy to do. There's people
and it did lower.
Like Nick Kroll, it's doing it with Oreos. Yeah, and it did lower.
But then it just goes back up unless you keep eating them. So unless you're trying to pass a test like in other countries where your insurance or whatever, or your life insurance or whatever it might be, where you have to have it within the healthy range and you need to lower it fast, then you can do the carb thing. But otherwise, it really serves no point if you're going to continue doing carnivore.
We can't tell anybody.
We don't know.
You gotta
do your own journey. So my update, what I've gone through is basically when Steve flared, and I'd done added carbs in. We did the test. It did lower. We didn't eat 100 carbs is what you're supposed to have or whatever to really lower it. But we just had some carbs, 20 or so or less. And so I did it, and it was like, I don't feel as great on carbs. So when he cut everything. I cut mine out too, and I just felt so much better. I felt like regular carnivore when you feel great. And I have felt great since. I did basically the same thing with him. I'm back full carnivore again. And I talked to my cardiologist. I did have a verbal phone call or whatever. And he saw my results, that my CAC was 0, my stress test was 0, my echocardiogram, my EKG, my colored, whatever it was. All those things were fine. And so he basically was like, okay, well, you know. And I was like, well, what do you recommend? What do I do? Or what do you think? He's like, I said, after all these results, do you still think...
He doesn't want to give you...
Yeah, do you still think I should be on a statin? And he's like, no, change your diet. So he said no to a statin. So, and I wasn't going to get on one anyway. But he basically said everything's fine. Not fine, but he understands the study.
No, he doesn't want to say...
Yeah.
You come in there and you're... I mean, think about
He
that.
basically said, you're not going to take one, so what can I say? So, it's true.
But if you think about it, when you go to see your doctor, and I think there's doctors that they mean well, they're hardworking, and they're going by the science they've been taught. They're not keeping up with whatever's going on. And then you come in and say, I feel freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping like a rock. I'm getting 8 to 9 hours a night of sleep. I'm strong. I got great cardio. I'm happy. I'm in a great state of mind because I wake up and my brain is clear. My memory's improved.
Everything's
Why
great.
wouldn't they? If I could be a doctor. I just work with those patients that tell me they're feeling great, and I'd say, all right, keep doing what you're doing.
Basically, I've just succumbed to the fact that I'm just going to live with the high cholesterol. I think it's fine. I did see in the LMHR group just recently, actually, several people, somebody posted something and said they showed their cholesterol, and they said they changed nothing. And they just they tested early, just like we did. 3.5 months was early. They tested early, and then a year later or whatever, they did their test and it had dropped a lot, like basically closer to still high, but you know, high, but way lower than their level. Doing nothing. They didn't change anything. They didn't add carbs. They didn't do anything. So it naturally went down. So I am looking forward to that. I hope that happens for us. So I did order some labs. We haven't gone to go get them yet. But I was thinking when you do your test.
1 year? Oh, June.
July, I think.
June or July.
Yeah. But we're going to do it, maybe,
happens.
I want to do it around the 9 months, you know, like every 3 months or whatever. But so maybe we'll go do it. I ordered them on Own Your Labs. It was only $7.75 or something like that. It's cheap just to go get it. You do have to fast before, but we just got a basic cholesterol test. We're going to go get that done. I've been messing around with how to try to stay in ketosis because I can't seem to be in ketosis if I eat 2 meals a day. So I've come to kind of what seems to be what maybe will work for me, and I do 1 meal a day. This is what I'm experimenting with right now. So 1 meal a day, and then the next day, if I do 1 meal a day days, I can get in ketosis, like a higher level. And then the next day I can do a regular day. And then if I do the next day, do 1 meal a day or a very small meal, like if I'm hungry, I'll do bone broth and maybe a piece of air fried fat or something, and then eat a regular dinner. So I'm just trying to experiment between those sort of things just to try to stay in ketosis because I really want to be in it. And I think I feel great when I feel great anyway, but I just want to see what it's all about. And why can't I seem to get into it? It seems like the only way to get into it for me is for my glucose to be like really low. It needs to be not really low for me, like 60 something, you know, but normal would be like 80 or whatever. And this is just on waking. I don't know.
I think that's cool. Like I didn't realize you were tapping into like the pattern that you need to be
to try to stay in it.
Yeah.
So that's why you're like, are you eating this morning? I'm like, nah, because I will. If I eat a full meal 2 days in a row, I am not hungry at all for breakfast. And when we're doing regular carnivore, eating 2 meals a day, I'm never hungry, ever. But getting to that state where you're kind of hungry, it feels kind of good. Like it felt good when I started actually being hungry because I was never hungry.
It does.
Ever.
It does make you.
It does.
I haven't been hungry.
And so when you're actually jonesing for a meal and you're like, oh, I cannot wait to eat dinner when we have dinner. You know, it's so fun. And then I'll have ribs or something fun. We're trying to incorporate fish in a couple times a week at least. Salmon or sardines. And so we're basically only chuck steaks. Every meal is chuck steak.
Single meal.
I eat flanken ribs because I'm obsessed with them a couple times a week. And I'm eating bone broth. I just put bone broth in your coffee. Yeah. We do eat coffee. We're having black coffee. I put the bone broth powder in there.
Oh, the powder.
A scoop. Yeah. It's Paleo Valley. It's great. It's clean. It's great. I love it. It's a bone broth powder. It tastes It's tasteless, odorless, and it's great. It gives him collagen and all that stuff, but since he's not eating bone broth and I'm trying to eat it a lot, I figure you need it. I'll put a link, but if there's a thing on Facebook where an ad pops up and it's half off, and it just pops up in my feed all the time because it knows I buy it or talk about it, I don't know. But there's also a coupon you can stack, and it's the Paleo Mom 15. And so I'll put, it's not my coupon, it's not my anything.
If you're into doing
yeah, if you want to supplement, like if you're like Steve, always wants more protein, whatever, he works out a lot, just puts it in there, he doesn't have to eat as much, even though he does. He eats like 2 pounds a day. Before
we close this, I just realized there's something else that, like, getting back to those people that tested their cholesterol and at 1 year, maybe something happens at 1 year or, within that
range.
They
said you're completely fat adapted at that point.
So something happens, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's stages along the way where things happen. In the beginning, you're like, some people, you struggle for a day or two or whatever, you have all that going on. And then there's a stage where it felt like, oh, I got this figured out. I got, this is it. I'm feeling great and all that.
Yeah.
Just recently, I've gotten to where it's like, I want a steak. I can't believe I'm not repulsed by steak yet.
Oh no,
I
it's
eat
so
it
good.
twice a day.
We're eating the same cut of steak.
Yes.
Every meal.
So I'm eating the steak and typically 3 eggs. Like there's times I might just do 2, especially if they're big duck eggs.
6 eggs a day.
A day.
Yeah. And 2 pounds of meat.
There is something happening that I feel that's like a
your body completely understands what to do with it.
Yeah, like I went to put butter on and I was like, I don't
need it anymore.
I don't want it, I don't crave it, I'm not repulsed by this. Like, so I started eating it without the butter. I feel like my body is saying this is where you need to be right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like everything feels good. My energy, my sleep, my brain, everything just feels good. And I've had that in stages throughout this whole thing. And this I feel is a different stage. And I'm trying to just listen to that. Like, it's a weird thing when your body talks to you or your brain's talking to you, like with butter. And it wasn't like a repulsive thing. It was just like, I don't need it
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what's weird about the butter? I cut butter out a couple months ago. At some point, I'm like, you know what? I'm cutting out the butter completely. And I'm cutting out eating air fried fat and just seeing how I feel after that. So I was fine, eating more ribs and things that are real fatty. But anyway, so but I noticed something changed. My poop. Like I've had, and everybody in Carnivore has this too. Like their poop turns into, smoother poop, I should say. It's not diarrhea or anything, but smoother. Like soft serve, but
save the poop for the end of the day.
I know it. But I have to explain this because other people might be doing the same thing. Soft serve poop.
Is there a lever?
Well, I think of the Squatty Body commercial with that unicorn where he's pooping out and it looks like soft serve.
Right.
I know. But anyway, so my poop went to normal. It had what it used to always be, just normal poop, like with edges and things. And so I was like, that's weird. So cutting out the fat definitely did it. So I added back in the fat bites and not the butter. And everybody in Carnivore, tons of people in these Carnivore groups always say if you're having diarrhea, cut out the butter. Just don't do any dairy and don't do butter. Or have only cold butter and not warm butter or whatever. So I realized that I'm one of those people. I just can't do butter, I guess. I don't know why, but I should bring it back in and just see if anything changes. Maybe it's because it just happened to be a coincidence, but I cut out the butter. I'm fine with the air fried fat bites. It doesn't change anything, but the butter does for me. I don't know why.
Early on you needed the butter.
I guess, yeah.
Because it's a quick and easy
fat, because you're trying to count all your carbs and not your carbs, but your ratio, your macros, and you need more butter, more fat. But I'm getting it through the air fried fat bites, and I love them so much. They taste so delicious. But I'm fine with beef fat, so I don't cook with butter or anything for myself. I'm not doing anything with butter. That's my poop update for the video. My poop update is normal. Yeah, it's nothing crazy and nothing like it's super easy. See, I'm not making a mess or anything. It really is like I'm not putting a bunch of stuff into the environment. There's zero gas. We're not having gas. Yeah. And we don't have any uncomfortableness. Pooping once a day. We're going to take you for a walk. Everything's normal. Everything feels balanced and normal. And I feel completely confident And I wasn't confident before until that CAC scan, and then maybe I'll change my mind after the LMHR study comes out or after your test happens or whatever, but I'm fine with this right now. I feel like I'm healthy. I feel like everything's great. And this is how I want to eat. And
healthy.
I'm eating like this, and we'll see what happens. But this is what I'm into.
We walk the dog twice a day, and it's a couple miles, a little over 2 miles.
She wants that right now.
Steph's riding the lit bike.
Oh yeah,
She's
that is
doing
another
that
thing that changed. I
regularly.
just started, once we got that lit bike, the one with all the classes and stuff,
It's a cool bike.
I moved it into the guest room so I can have the ceiling fan on, and I'm actually using a bicycle.
And doing
15
it really
minutes
well.
or to 20 a day. Not a day. Some days I'm not. I'm just doing it however I feel like it.
Yeah.
But it's totally fine. It's totally fun. And I'm actually not even listening to the classes, but I'm watching movies that he hasn't wanted to see, or something that I wanted to see, or I haven't seen in a long time. Like I just started, or I'm starting tomorrow, Rocky Horror Picture Show. I haven't seen it forever and I want to watch it. And I just, 15, 20 minutes of an increment. I'm watching it. And then the class, as it's going, it increases my speed. I look down, glance at it, and I'll do like, okay, we're doing a weight thing or whatever. I'm trying to do what they do. I'm not very good at it. I'm not coordinated. Like I'm not great at
Yeah, you
standing
are.
on
You're
the bike.
You underestimate how coordinated you are. Like seriously, she underestimates it.
When I watch those instructors, I'm like, oh,
Well,
I suck.
you can't
But it's
use
getting
that as a
easier
guide.
every day. Every day I do it is easier. But it's fun. We'll see. I mean, I can't tell any difference or anything, but
There's always going to be a difference. Anytime
I
that you do
know.
exercise.
The difference
But
I feel
anyways,
is that you are so happy about it.
because I know it's good for you.
It's fine.
That's the number one thing you could do in your life to give you a better outcome in health, and that's exercise. So that's our update. We're physically doing good, mentally doing, well, I'd say great on both of those. We're doing great physically, we're doing great mentally. Our, whatever's going on, Steph had her test done, so her heart's looking pretty darn good. Mine feels good.
Life is awesome.
Yeah, life is awesome. We're eating a lot of meat, and hey. So when I get that test, that long-awaited test,
We will update.
we will share that with you guys. All right,
You ready
enjoy
for
your life.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
she got me in the mouth.